गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है. This is a great good morning India time, and we're going to look at Iran war day 20. And what do you see there? You see Mr. Trump in the deep end of Strait of Hormuz, and he's trying to find his feet. That's what I've tried to depict here. And at this point of time, I'd also like to welcome all those viewers from P Gurus, all channels, and of course, Gunner Shot. I must tell you, I'm wearing my Gunner Shot T-shirt for the first time because that's when now I've been able to get hold of one. Right, that's how it is. That's why I'm in a round neck and all that. So don't mind. Right, let's get going in what's happening. 20, not many strikes, not much. People are trying to seek a solution, finding a solution. Is there a solution, uh, you know, on the cards? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so, think things are going to be that easy because there's no give up. Of course, some strikes have taken place. It's not as if nothing has happened, right? And like always, let's start with the headlines. What does the New York Times say? And then we'll see Washington Post and everything. What does New York Times say? He says Trump speaks as attacks rattle energy markets. Look at this energy market. It has gone, it went up to 117, climbed down to about 104, 105. Yesterday was very bad, even bad in India. I think those of you who got stocks and all are, must be saying, oh, this is a big loss. Well, that's that. And oil prices spiral and things like that. And Pentagon seeks $200 billion. Interesting. And then just today morning, Trump's complaint about Israeli strike on gas field exposes divergent strategies. Though Trump has said this, and one statement came out from Israel to say that, look, we did inform US. But today morning, Benjamin Netanyahu said, no, we didn't inform US and we've carried it out. Okay. Uh, yeah, attack, shake markets, all that. Right. And Trump seeks to reassure Americans. Are Americans reassured? Well, like I showed you in this cartoon, Trump has not found his feet as yet in Hormuz. I don't think USA has found its feet. I think they misjudged. I mean, this I've been saying from a long time. They misjudged the depth and way Iran would react. So that's where this whole story is going. What does Washington Post say? It mulls lifting oil sanctions on Iran as it hits Gulf energy sites. And I'll talk of this a little later. This is interesting, right? Because it is giving a way out for the US, but there are contradictions in what they want to do. What does Al Jazeera say? What did they say yesterday? Iran war escalates, causing more deaths and soaring energy prices. Right? Uh, that's anyone who's watching this show would by now know that. But that's not the issue. The death toll surpasses 1,000 in Lebanon as Israeli bombardment continues. Look, that's the point. The point is that as much as Iran war is going on, there's something going on in Lebanon. Actually, if you look at it, Israel is fighting on two fronts. Right? The Hezbollah is trying to revive itself. Hexet says no time frame for war as Pentagon asked for 200 billion. So the time frame is indefinite. This war ain't going to end in a hurry. Right. What else? Today morning, Iran warns of zero restraint if energy facilities are attacked again. Okay. And then there's this news F-35 makes an emergency landing after a combat mission is over Iran. Iran is blowing it up as if they've blown up they've downed the F-35. Well, from the US side, they say, look, there was a malfunction and it's gone. I would go with the malfunction because if you hit the F-35, the chances of it coming down are very less. Right? But in a situation where, there is actual active combat going on, it is highly possible, right, that a malfunction occurs. That's part and parcel of warfare and machines and all that. So not much to bother about. And there's an analysis in Al Jazeera which says Trump is looking for an exit ramp. Everyone knows Trump is looking for an exit ramp, but he's not getting one. That's why he's still in the deep end. Is that exit ramp visible? I don't see it. I don't know this thing. The exit ramp was visible in the initial stages. The exit ramp today is looking to be a little difficult. It might reappear after a week if there's a military solution to it, but then we'll see where that goes as we come along. What does China say? Headlines in South China Morning Post. How long will US-Israel war on Iran last? Chinese analysts offer clues. Right? How long will it last? How do I know? Will Chinese know? No, but they're worried. They're worried about how long it will last because it's going to hit them badly. Like I said, uh, well, this war is going to hit everyone, but the one country, big country, which is going to get hit badly is China. On that, let's not have any doubts. I don't have doubts about it. Others might have, right? The Sinophiles might have, but my way of looking at it, China is in a fix for many reasons. They can't export, or there is an export-dependent economy. Who will buy their items? Not Europe, not Middle East, not America, not India. If these four big entities don't buy, who will buy? Of course, some will be bought, but what China expects might not happen this year. And of course, the next thing, of course, I'm spending a little time on China because I'll not come back to China again. Fact is, if oil inflows don't come in to China, right? Oil inflows don't come into China, it can't export either. If there are no imports, there's no exports. Remember that. A lot of, right? You know what China did last year by having that record surplus of exports and all that is probably one time. It can't be every time. Okay. So that's where they are, and other countries are going to also get hit. It's not as if other country thing. The point is, those countries who are inwardly dependent on everything, right, will be able to get through and all that. But a country which is dependent on exports is going to have problems. It's largely dependent on export. That I did talk to you about that. I did talk to you about the exit route of China. Did a whole program as to what are the problems A, O, X, Y, Z. So have a look at that program and get to know. We're not going to talk of China again in this thing. Let's get to what America has been up to. US. US forces are destroying, as per the Central Command, destroying naval targets that threaten international shipping in and near the Strait of Hormuz. And yesterday was a day of briefings, meetings, and all that. And we'll go over it because rather than me summarizing it, you must hear what people said, right? So this is Pete Hexeth talking about winning. Again, right. So our Rama says no audio. So let me see what I can do about that. Okay, I'll play it again.
They did with Hamas, report the reality. We're winning decisively and on our terms. Iran is a vast country, and just like Hamas and their tunnels, they've poured any aid, any economic development, humanitarian aid into tunnels and rockets. That's what they did with Hamas. Iran has funneled decades of state resources, not to their people, but into missiles and drones and proxies and buried facilities. But we are hunting them down methodically ruthlessly and overwhelmingly, like no other military in the world can do. And the results speak for themselves.
So he says America is winning. We are hunting them down ruthlessly, ye wo. But if we are doing all that, why is Iran still retaliating and creating all the chaos? Remember, he has to sell the story to his audience. One. Number two, there's no doubt that they're doing a hell of a lot. And what exactly they're doing, he's a politician, Pete said. He'll always have to claim that they're winning. So that's par for the course. So now let's see what Dan Kane has said. The operative part, exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
These weapons are bespoke plan to achieve our military objectives and remain unrelenting in our pursuit of Iranian missile capabilities, UAV capabilities, and their Navy, and as the Secretary said, their industrial base. Each day we continue to attack deeper into Iranian territory. As reported by U.S. Central Command yesterday, the U.S. military dropped 5,000-pound penetrator weapons into underground storage facilities, storing coastal defense cruise missiles and other support equipment. These weapons are bespokely designed to get through concrete and/or rocks and function after penetrating those barriers. We continue to hunt and kill mine storage facilities and naval ammunition depots. We continue to hunt and kill afloat assets, including more than 120 vessels and 44 mine layers, and the pressure will continue. We're flying further to the east now and penetrating deeper into Iranian airspace to hunt and kill one-way attack garrisons, destroying Iran's ability to project power outside of its borders. The A-10 Warthog is now in the fight across the southern flank and is hunting and killing fast attack watercraft in the Straits of Hormuz. In addition, AH-64 Apaches have joined the fight on the southern flank, and they continue to work on the southern side, and that includes some of our allies who are using Apaches to handle one-way attack drones. In Iraq, AH-64s have been striking against Iranian-aligned militia groups to make sure that we suppress any threat in Iraq against U.S. forces or U.S. interests. And we remain focused on pursuit of any platform that Iran could field to harm Americans or our partners. Last Friday, Admiral Cooper and the CENTCOM team conducted precision strikes against more than 90 targets on Karg Island, which included all of their military-only infrastructure, which included air defenses, naval base, mine storage, and deployment facilities. And as the Secretary mentioned, we continue to strike against Iran's defense industrial base and will continue to do so.
So very clear what they're doing. Right? They put all their air assets, including Apaches, AAVO, and all that. Look, the way they're doing this, they've got clear air superiority, complete air superiority over Iran. And Iran's got nothing to fight back so far. That's why that F-35 kill which they're talking, Iran is talking, I don't believe it. Okay. We shouldn't get carried away with this propaganda. And he said he's going to the east of he's concentrating on the east. So now USA is concentrated on the Strait of Hormuz. And by today evening or tomorrow, the USS Tripoli with that Marine Expeditionary Force will come in. Plus he's got some troops they've got here already. So we'll see. My guess is something will happen in the next 3-4 days. If US puts its boots on the ground and gets hold of a few islands in the Strait of Hormuz, which I explained yesterday, right? Then US is in business in the Strait of Hormuz, then is negotiable. Of course, some of these islands are Iranian islands. And if they can be, pushed out, the Iranians can be pushed out of this, that will take a week, 10 days. It's not going to be easy. That's why they said it's going to be a long war, right? And then we'll see. But I'm not going to preempt it. Yesterday, I explained it in the Three Good General show, what it is. We'll see how it goes. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Okay? It's not going to be, however weak Iran has become. But look, one thing you have to understand, Iran might be weak, Iran might not have missiles. Iran might not have tanks. I mean, Iran might not be able to put the tanks to good effect. Iran might not be able to do many things. Air Force gone, Navy gone, everything gone. They still have the army. They hold the land. And man lives on land. He doesn't live in thin air. Right? And that's what even Benjamin Netanyahu said. He says ultimately things have to be done on ground. And he said this yesterday. Right? What they'll do on ground, we don't know. And also remember, there are Israeli special forces. It's just not the Marines. There are Marines. There is some, them. I'm sure the US Army has got some infantry there in Dubai and that area, and Israeli special forces. So a combination of all this, what will happen on ground, we'll see. I'm only giving out the likelihood, but well, we don't know what exactly. Okay, now let me get back to the okay the Iranians. What are they doing? They've said, look, hit our energy again, and we'll destroy all infrastructure in the Middle East for good. He's got nothing to lose. He's on a back. His back is to the wall, and he'll hit whatever he can get. As simple as that. There's nothing else, right? Next strike won't be measured. It'll be total. If you think, look, he can do anything. And for that, he's got enough missiles. I'm sure they've got enough uh, stuff for that. He's looking at every refinery, every pipeline, every terminal is on the crosshair. He's giving his threats. How much he can achieve is a different story. But to hit 10, 12 targets, selected 10, 12 targets in the Middle East, he's got the capability. Every country will have the capability. Okay. Right. Then, of course, the Iranian embassy in Kabul put out this. Right? What have they put? They put out the 64th wave, 64th wave of True Promise. So every day they are putting about 3 to 4 waves of missiles. And more like 3 waves. That's what I've been seeing. That's what I just think. 3 waves at about 4, 5 targets. As it is covering about 14, 15 targets, and they should be able to continue to do that. And they're all long range. But how long more? That's the question. Right? Uh, right. Like Demod said, the US and Israel have already lost this war. I don't agree with that nonsense. No one has won the war or lost the war so far. Wars are not, on the battlefield when there is no direct contact. Look, if you look at it militarily, Iran has lost it. But if you look at it politically, Iran has not lost it. And Iran has not lost it politically, now, or has US won it politically. Militarily, I think it's a hands-down fight. Let's be clear. So don't make absolute statements like fools. Okay, don't put your foot in the mouth. War is a complex thing. And like I keep telling everyone, gone are the days in 71, when you went, conquered 93,000, took 90,000 prisoners, made a country, a multi-pronged attack. That type of war is gone. Today, the warfare is different. There are no clear victors in any war today. You can go in, but will you get victory? No. That's the history. Victory is judged by long-term outcomes. So no one has won or lost so far. Okay, situations are there in war and it will happen. Okay. And of course, as far as the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, very less. So if you say, oh, China is getting vessels and chap is paying in yuan and that guy has gone through, India has got to deal with this thing. No. Look at it. What does marine traffic say? He is very clear that in the past, transit activity through the Strait of Hormuz remains severely constrained, with only 4 vessel movements recorded over 2 days. 2 crude oil tankers and 1 LPG container. That's it. So it's not much, right? It's not much. So things are not easy. No oil is going out. No oil is going out. Wherever oil is going out, whatever has to go. 2 days back, when I said it was 15 tankers in 3 days. That's what I said earlier. 15 transits in 3 days. But that's gone down. Just 4 tankers in 2 days. So things are becoming tight for everyone. Okay, that's why people are getting together. And well, the Aramco oil refinery was targeted yesterday. We don't know what the outcome is. It's not much. In any case, there would be some damage, not damage, all that. This is going on. Right. Then, if you think on the street Iranians are dispirited, no. Here is the police chief speaking to all these people. So, the guys who are controlling Iran, their morale is up. And they are determined because for them it's an existential problem. If Iran falls, all these guys, right down to the lowest Tanadar in Iran, will lose. So the police, the Basi, the army, the IRGC, all these fellows are fighting for their survival. It's not the Aam Aadmi in Iran, it's these chaps. So they'll fight. The fight is there. They have nothing to lose. They've lost hell of a lot. Today, what is at stake? If they lose the Strait of Hormuz, they've lost their own oil. Right? So let's see how it goes. Like I've always said, it will be victory for Iran if they can control the Strait of Hormuz. But will anyone agree to that? That's $1 million question. I don't think anyone will agree to that. Right? What's the toll so far? Have a look at it. I'll make it bigger. Yeah, this is the toll. We were looking at a lot of deaths, but not much. If you see what I put out about 3 to 4 days back to now, there are not many killed. The death is not much. The damage to infrastructure is more. Okay. And what about petrol prices all over the globe? Everyone is worried about it. Look at it. You look at Laos. You look at all this. China also, they have increased to by 10%. Yeah, this is it. India is no increase in petrol. Right? So we are actually in a good position. We're in a good position, right? And these countries, Vietnam, Pakistan, 25%, we know they're getting hit very badly. Right? And like I said earlier yesterday, our refining capacity surplus will help us through this whole story. Right? That's the barometer which we have to work. Our problem is LPG, LNG, CNG, because 30% of what is there in the world is not coming out from Qatar. And we depended hell of a lot on Qatar. Will we be able to find alternate places? No. Well, government is taking some steps. We'll look at it towards the end and discuss it then. Right. And then what has, the NATO chief said? So the NATO has jumped into the fray. NATO has come in support of USA. Okay. So let's hear what he said and then see what he can do.
Can as soon as possible. This is crucial for world economy. In my context with allies are seeing is that they are intensely discussing amongst each other with the United States and amongst each other the best way forward to tackle this huge security issue. And let me add to that, that I'm confident that allies, as always, will do everything in support of our shared interests.
So the NATO has come out of it because NATO and Europe has got no choice. You see, look at Europe. Europe is in a very bad shape. Europe, where does it get its energy from? Either from here or from Russia. This is close. Russia, they can't take. Then they have to depend on US. US will laugh all its way to the bank. I said this at the beginning. Only 3 countries will make money out of this. Russia, USA, and India. Right? So I think you have to look at it in a macro picture. Don't look at the stock market tanking. In the long run, that's how it is. And they're stuck. So they have to support. Whether they can come support physically, I don't think so. I don't think it's needed also. But when all this is happening, yesterday the Gulf foreign ministers met. And what happened there, we need to understand.
Accused Iran of trying to intimidate Gulf leaders and said it would not succeed.
The targeting of Riyadh while a number of diplomats are meeting, I cannot see as coincidental. And I think that's the clearest signal of how Iran feels about diplomacy. It doesn't believe in talking to its neighbors. It tries to pressure its neighbors. And what I can say categorically, that's not going to work. The kingdom is not going to succumb to pressure. And on the contrary, this pressure will backfire.
The Saudi foreign minister also said the patience of GCC countries was not unlimited and that if Tehran's attacks on its neighbours continue, they reserve the right to take military action against Iran once all diplomatic options have been exhausted.
But what I care about now is that the attacks on my country and on my neighbouring countries that are not involved in this conflict end. That's all I'm interested in. And we're going to use every lever we have, political, economic, diplomatic, and elsewise, to get these attacks to stop. That's what I care about.
Hours earlier, Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial complex was hit in a missile attack which caused extensive damage. Qatar's foreign ministry condemned the attack and said Iran was dragging the region towards the abyss. The UAE also had to shut down 2 of its facilities due to falling debris from a missile interception. And several missiles and drones were also launched at gas fields in the east of Saudi Arabia, but Riyadh said those were intercepted. Since this conflict began more than 2 weeks ago, GCC leaders have been at pains to stress they would defend their territories but not attack Iran. But the targeting of their critical energy infrastructure is putting relations between Iran and its Gulf neighbours under increasing strain. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
So, very clear. As this war drags on, Iran is getting isolated from within the Muslim world. Right? So, this is absolutely now these people are getting hit. And they're saying, look, you fight with USA. Don't use USA to fight us. So there's a duality in the Iranian stand coming out. Look, Iran is playing for broke. These people are getting hit. They are not fully keen to get into it militarily also so far. Okay. Now let's see what the Qataris say. Because you see that South Pars gas field and the North gas field of Qatar. South Pars is Iranian, North field is Qatari. Both are closed now. It's not as if it's happiness for sadness for all these people in Iran's oil and gas is going out. They are also closed. Okay, they are also closed. Their oil is also dump. Or not dump, it's caught. It's not going out anywhere. So, economically, Iran is going bad. And remember, Iran, in the beginning of the year, there was a fall in the currency. People were out on the streets and there was almost a revolution. It didn't happen. Why it didn't happen? There were 14 to 15,000 people were shot dead or hit or whatever. And that subsided. And then this started. Now, if the economy goes, if essentials are not available in Iran, again, people will come out on the streets. Right? Iran is still vulnerable internally. Will that moment happen when, if that happens, Iran is gone. Right? There'll be a regime change. But that regime change, what will happen and all that, I'll not at this point talk of it. We'll talk of it as things evolve. Don't worry. Right? In the meanwhile, let's see what Qatar had to say. Okay? This clip which I showed didn't show Qatar. So let's see Qatar.
Dance. The biggest proof of this is that the attack which happened yesterday was an attack on a Qatari natural gas facility, which is a source of income for the Qatari people. But not just for the Qatari people. What they did yesterday also impacted the millions of people which Qatar is helping.
So the point he's made is, look, if you had a problem with USA, you hit the USA, but you're hitting Qatar, which has got nothing to do with USA. Right? Qatar has been playing this hedging game for long. So now they're caught. Now Qatar is saying it's not only us, you're even hitting the rest of the world. So Iran has to rethink this politically. If they rethink this politically and militarily, they are where they are. They've lost it. They are not prepared to do. This is the log jam we are in. When all this is happening, Benjamin Netanyahu came yesterday and gave us a press conference. Okay, listen to the. I'll not.
Has to be done. I think that what.
So I'll talk of this. 2-3 things came out of this. One, he's proven. Look, he's alive. He said, "Look, I'm still alive. I'm not a ghost or something like that." That's the first thing. And 2-3. One other major issue he made. He says there has to be an alternate route. That is IMEC. That's what he's going to speak of. We'll talk. There are 3-4 clips which I didn't get all. And then he said, look, ultimately, whether you do whatever we can do in the air, in the sea and all, you have to do things on ground. So he says, I'll tell you as things go. So they have a plan. So I expect some ground action to start commencing. It might get delayed, not delayed, target different. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So far, there's no clue. But my way of thinking, my way, and I take ownership on this, my way of thinking, you have to catch Hormuz. You have to push your way through Hormuz, right? Physically. To push your way through Hormuz, you have to get hold of certain key terrain locations and islands in the Strait of Hormuz. Push something in, threaten Karg, take over Karg, and then talk. In the meanwhile, this softening of this coastal batteries, all that. Ideally, Pakistan should be brought into the game from the east, Balochistan. Pakistan's tail is being twisted, and even in this Gulf Cooperation meet, Pakistan was there. And today there's something saying, look, Pakistan signed on this, will Pakistan be forced to attack? And there's internal problem in Pakistan against this attack. So that is why Pakistan is waging a war to avoid this war. We'll discuss this today evening. Today evening, my topic is Pakistan waging a war to avoid a war. Okay, they're in a survival mode. And at the end of the day, how Pakistan turns out, we'll see in the evening. But then let's listen now to Benjamin Netanyahu.
Has to be done is to have alternative routes instead of going through the choke points of the Hormuz Straits and the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. In order to have the flow of oil, just have oil pipelines going west through the Arabian Peninsula, right up to Israel, right up to our Mediterranean ports, and you've just done away with the choke points for forever.
So it's very clear. He says, go through. What is that? IMEC. So you go to Fujairah, cut through the peninsula, right? And go through the Arabian Peninsula, go through Jordan, go through Israel and out. Right. The alternate to that is Duqm. Go to Duqm, Oman, lay pipelines through. There are problems there. But technology can overcome those problems. The problems are the mountains. Go through and solve this problem forever. And I agree with them. Oman and UAE are critical in this. And that is why Iran is hitting UAE. But as it keeps hitting UAE, it is losing control of the Strait of Hormuz. They'll control Strait of Hormuz for 1 year, 2 years. To lay pipelines is not a big deal. Already there's a pipeline. When the things go down, that Fujairah pipeline will come into action. Okay. So that is the important thing. Let me see if I have a map of that. No, I don't have a map of that. Well, it's one of those things. Sorry. Today I didn't get a map of that. But then that's how it is. Evening I'll explain when we talk of Park Shark and all that. So, and I've been showing this map day in and day out. So by now everyone knows the map there. Okay. So that means if what Benjamin Netanyahu says happens, I bypass Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb, the Iranians have lost it. And that will happen. Iran's political control over the Strait of Hormuz will go within a year. 1 year. Okay, that's my prediction. So, in which case Iran would have lost. So, this notion of victory and loss is time sensitive and political sensitive. So, we'll see, but then let's see how it goes. Okay. Now, when all this is happening, there's something else also has come up. The US guys have come up with another idea, and this is interesting. Okay. Scott Bessent has said this. Okay, listen to him.
Did this, we knew that there could be a temporary, and I want to emphasize.
One minute, there's some problem in it.
That's 10 days to 2
Yeah.
weeks of supply that the Iranians had been pushing out.
Yeah, listen to this from the start.
A plan across the administration and at Treasury. We unsanctioned Russian oil. We knew that there were about 130 million barrels on the water. And
So this is interesting. They have unsanctioned Iranian oil, unsanctioned Russian oil. They're planning to unsanction Iranian oil. He says there are 130 million barrels of oil on the water in tankers. He says unsanction it, take it, and pump it through. How they're going to do it, take it out, is a different story. They might take it out through Dubai, Jebel Ali, and through that Fujairah pipeline, or through the east-west pipeline of Saudi Arabia. These two pipelines can be used. No temporary pipelines can be used. It's only that. So listen to him. It's a very interesting thing.
we created supply that is beyond the Straits of Hormuz. So we anticipated this. We knew that there could be a temporary, and I want to emphasize temporary, choke point there. And there was 130 million barrels of floating storage. In the coming days, we may unsanction the Iranian oil that's on the water. It's about 140 million barrels. So depending on how you count it, that's 10 days to 2 weeks of supply that the Iranians had been pushing out. That would have all gone to China. In essence, we will be using the Iranian barrels against the Iranians.
So look at this. So whatever Iran has on the ships, they'll take over the ships, which was going to China, and unsanction it, give Iran some money, and take that and push it out elsewhere. Okay, so and that gives time for any repairs on the refineries, all that, and that oil will go out. And he says that's 10 days worth of stock. In 10 days, if this whole story comes to an end, Iran has lost that oil. Oil prices will fall and things will happen. Look, an ingenious plan. Let's see if they can execute it. If they execute it, I think we are on a good wicket.
To keep the price down for the next 10 or 14 days as we continue this campaign. So we have lots of levers. We've got plenty more that we can do. The largest coordinated SPR release in history, 400 million barrels, was approved last week. And some countries are going to do more. The U.S. could unilaterally do another SPR release to keep the price down. As you will have noted, WTI and its European counterpart Brent have substantially diverged over the past few trading sessions. They were trading right on top of each other last week. And this is because the U.S., thanks to President Trump in his first term, the continuing efforts here, is virtually energy independent. And when President Trump says our allies should join us in a coalition along the Straits of Hormuz, that they're the ones who need this oil. The U.S., we're an oil exporter.
So they're doing this. So if they are successful in this and some land effort in this, then Iran is in a corner. So Iran, will it come before that and start negotiating? They might not like. If they negotiate, they won't lose. They'll win. Look, they'll rebuild the country. Whatever we don't like about Hexeth or not, let's be clear, Iran is an energy surplus country. It will remain so. If it can use this money for its own people rather than, going and trying to sort out Israel, all that, they'll prosper, which it has not done because of this theology and all this nonsense. So I think we're going to see interesting days ahead. This whole story is not done. Okay. Now, let's look at what Al Jazeera says about what's happening in Israel, the Israel part of the story.
What's being bought. The proposal simply states sounding bullish about what's going on, but
this is the Israel story.
You can, I guess, detect that there are some strains emerging in Israel. The Israeli government has just approved $710 million in what they're calling emergency classified defense spending. And they're funding this in part by cutting government services and in part also by cutting debt payments. They're not saying what's being bought. The proposal simply states the replenishment of critical combat inventory and the acquisition of advanced combat means. Now, does this mean air defense interceptors? We know that Israel has been burning through these at an accelerated rate. Could it be other war spending? We don't know the answer to that yet, but it does seem that this has been an urgent thing because the government has basically bypassed normal cabinet procedure. It's called ministers up and on the phone got them to approve this in a phone poll, essentially. And there could be some pretty pointed questions when the Knesset is asked to ratify this within 2 weeks. And I think this shows the growing strain in Israel of fighting a conflict on two fronts, with the Gaza war, which is also extraordinarily expensive, not yet in the rearview mirror.
Rory Challens, live in Amman, Jordan. Thank you, Rory.
So there is a problem in Israel also looming up. Israel has also got internal problems. Look, remember, Israel internal politics are fully diverse. You have the leftist of lefties in Israel and the rightist of right guys in Israel. The small parties with 3-4 members and all. It's a huge coalition. Israel has always been a coalition government. Israeli governments have fallen because of these coalition shifting coalitions. Okay. One Israel we know is whenever there's a threat to it, it will strike out. But the other Israel is internally it fractures. But today Israel is fighting 3 fronts actually. One is the Gaza thing, which is there ongoing. Hezbollah, Lebanon, and then Iran. And they're having their issues. Right? So it's not as if everything is hunky-dory. And you saw pictures. Israel has been hit by the Iranian missiles. On that also we shouldn't have a doubt. Okay. So a lot of things are happening and a lot of things are going on simultaneously. Every day I try to get you whatever I can in terms to give you a 360-degree view as to how this war is progressing, how this conflict is progressing. So that, right, you get a fair idea and not make a biased judgment. Let's not be biased against anyone because we have stakes on both sides. I keep saying India has stakes with Iran, India has stakes with Israel, India has stakes with Middle East, India has stakes with USA. Okay, Iran is as important to us. I've said this before also. If Iran, we are able to get oil from Iran, a lot of problems of ours will get resolved. Let me tell you this. Okay, but then let's see how things go. I always look at it from the Indian perspective. So some of you think I'm biased. I'm not biased. I'll argue for both sides. Ultimately, I'm arguing again for the Indian side. Having said this, if you like this video so far, press the like button. Subscribe to P Gurus, subscribe to Gunner Shot. Those of you on Gunner Shot only, subscribe to P Gurus also. Those of you who are in P Gurus, please subscribe to Gunner Shot also. Okay. And also you can subscribe to both. You can also join both of us as members. Okay. We serve different purposes, but all the same. Okay. What next? Let's now see something else. Let me go back to my slide and let me show you.
The reality.
No, wait.
We're winning decisively.
Sorry.
And
I think my slide has slipped
Iran
out.
is a vast country.
This is a technological glitch which I've suffered. So let me share my screen again. There's some, when you juggle so many things, uh, some things happen, some things don't happen. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So this is the screen. Now, Turkey has also jumped in. What does Turkey say? If Tehran falls, then all countries of the Islamic world will fall. Tehran is the last fortress of the nation. He is bloody now coming. Tehran, Turk is coming saying, he's talking for Muslim leadership. Ye wo. He knows if it's a fact. If Iran falls, then the entire Muslim thing goes for a toss. Now he is talking of Muslim nation. Suddenly Turkey is jumping ship. Which side is Turkey on? Turkey is also playing on all sides. Okay. So this is what Turkey has to say. And then this is something interesting which has happened yesterday. I hope it's taken to its logical conclusion. Our Prime Minister, he said, look, I've had a meeting with the Sultanate. I mean, he's sent what shall I say, a message. And he had a conversation with the Sultanate of Oman. Okay, this is the whole story. We are talking. Look at this, what he says. I again express India's condemnation of the violation of Sultanate of Oman's sovereignty and unity of its territories, while appreciating its efforts in facilitating the safe return of thousands of individuals, including Indian nationals. Right. So he's given Eid ul-Fitr greetings to everyone. Similar thing has gone to Qatar, similar thing has gone to UAE, similar thing has gone to Saudi Arabia. I suppose today is Nowruz in Iran, so they'll go. So this brings me to this point. Look, at the outset, without any prejudice, Eid ul-Fitr greetings to all people who are of the Islamic faith, and Nowruz to happy Nowruz to people in Iran. Right? At a personal level, I wish them all well. Okay. Even otherwise, we wish them all well. Right. And when you serve 40 years in the country, in uniform, you realize in the army, armies are not meant to destroy people. Armies are meant to save people. Armies are meant to, save countries. We don't benefit by taking the country to war. We benefit the country by not taking it to war. Very few people understand this. Right? And if you've gone through death and destruction in battle, CI ops and all, war is not good. It's very difficult to see a person die, bleeding to death. Right? It's not good. So now, get back to the story. Mr. Modi has this outreach one, but if you go on the net, he's given it to a lot of people. Is this the first step of mediation by India? We'll have to see this. Right? And it might be so. It might be so. Okay. There's a veiled criticism of Iran in this also. Right? And he's supporting everyone. And also remember, we have a lot of people in that area whom we have to pull out. And then, of course, the domestic situation of LPG, all that. Have a look at this clip. I'll play it out. It's a long clip. I'll play out about a couple of minutes out of this.
उस दिन से अपने एलपीजी कमर्शियल उपभोक्ताओं से अपील कर रहे हैं कि जहां पर भी वो एलपीजी से सीएनजी पर शिफ्ट हो सकते हैं, कृपया वो उस तरफ अग्रसर हों। और इसी संबंध में बहुत सारी कंपनियों ने भी कुछ इंसेंटिव घोषित किए। इसके अलावा भारत सरकार ने भी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को रिक्वेस्ट किया कि जहां जहां पर जो परमिशन पेंडिंग है उसे डीम्ड अप्रूवल दे। इसके अलावा जो नए जितने भी रिक्वेस्ट आ रही हैं उनको भी 24 घंटे के अंदर अप्रूवल दे। इसके अलावा भारत सरकार ने सभी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को जो भी पीएनजी नेटवर्क के एक्सपेंशन में सहयोग देंगे उन्हें 10% एडिशनल कमर्शियल एलपीजी देने की बात कही है। इन सभी पहल और कोशिशों की वजह से लगभग पिछले 2 हफ्ते में 1.25 लाख के आसपास नए घरेलू और कमर्शियल और इंडस्ट्रियल कनेक्शन दिए गए हैं?
Look, they're still giving new connections. Okay, this government is still giving new connections. It's not as if the new connections have stopped. That's the important point, and they're making effort. We will be in some problem. I agree. We'll have to get over it. As a nation, we have to stand. So far, I think our government has done admirably in whatever is happening. Right? It's the domestic. People need gas for cooking at home. Otherwise, where will they go? So all this put together, I think things are on even keel within India. And India is making efforts to buy LPG from Russia and other places. But having said that, the sources are few and they can only get that much. Right? And so there's going to be some shortage down the line. I have no doubt about it. And let's tighten our belts for it. As a country, we have to respond to this situation because it's beyond this government, any government for all. Right. Now, in the end, I'm going to put something out. This is a discussion, and I'll put you all in a reflexive frame of mind. Have a look at this.
Development yesterday, it builds on reporting MS Now had earlier. Iran offered to give away all of its enriched uranium during the peace talks. And hours later, the U.S. started dropping bombs. And The Guardian broke yesterday that there were British officials, the British National Security Advisor was present in Geneva during that last round of talks. The British were surprised by the Iranian offer. They thought it was credible. They thought the talks should continue. And the British were shocked when the Trump administration started bombing Iran hours later.
So here it is. Now people are discussing why did this whole bombing start when the Iranians said we'll give everything. And this was reported at the beginning, which I came out with what Oman said. The Oman foreign minister said that the whole problem is resolved. Iran has agreed to everything. And yet America went and bombed. So this question will remain. Why did they bomb? Was Iran buying time by saying, I'll do everything and then he'll renege? So, and then was America prepared to, then why was America talking if they had to bomb? Why? It goes back to that video I did once on the deep, emotions between USA and Iran. Have a look at that. Their emotions run deep. Okay, if you look at their past history, right from 1953, when Mossadegh was assassinated by US, the 79 revolution, right, and hostage crisis of over 1 year, 4 months, 5 months, right, 30, 40, I don't remember the exact numbers, right, and the failed attempt. Then the American, barracks were bombed in Beirut. 240 Marines died. Truck bomb. When the Americans shot down Iranian airliner mistakenly, 290 people died. So if you go through all that, then this 12-day war in which those 3 massive penetrators were put down in Fordo, and now the level of distrust is not the issue. The level of hate between both these countries is institutional hate. Institutionally, they dislike each other. That is the issue. And that is something which we have to appreciate and understand. If you don't understand that, we are in the wrong game. And that is why there's no peace. If a country leader says death to America every second day, America will react. At some point of time, you need to come to a convergence. Is Iran ready to do that convergence? So far, no. Right. Iran, and if you go back into history, Iran and Israel didn't have a problem till 79. Iran and Israel were planning to have a pipeline in 79. Direct. Then this Palestinian problem, everything happened. When all this was happening, revolution took place, Iran took over the Palestinian problem. You hear Bill Clinton, that clip is out every day. He says, I got them to an accommodation. There was a deal between Palestine and Israel. Yasser Arafat walked away from it. Why did Yasser Arafat walk away from it? Because of Iranian instigation. So, many people are arguing for Iran, but Iran is complicit in this. Many people are arguing for Israel. Israel is also complicit in this. What they've done in Gaza is not fun. Right? So, there is a problem, deep-seated problem between Iran and Israel. There's a deep-seated problem between Israel and USA. And USA will not let Israel go. Very simple. Now, these realities, will Iran realize after this? It appears to me now after this, one thing with outcome I see is all the Gulf countries will come around to that. We don't have a choice. If Iran or Muslim neighbor is going to behave the way it has, I'd rather go with someone else. Ultimately, every ruler has to be responsible to his people. And these Gulf monarchies are fragile. And Iran is capable of upsetting them. Iran is a theological society. So there are issues. Okay? So, a whole lot of them. I thought this is what I had to tell you today. I'll take a few questions, right? And then we'll go further. Adar Sharma, thanks a lot for becoming a YouTube member. And also Tucker, thanks a lot. Deepak Tucker, sorry. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay. Lalit Mohan, under what authority US sanctions oil purchase from Iran, Russia? Is it by the power they have to damage impound cargo to other countries? It's not a matter of UNCLOS. UNCLOS has got nothing to do with it. Sanction oil purchase from Iran is their own sanction. That is largely the capability to enforce this sanction is not military. The capability to enforce this sanction is technology and finance, dollar, economic sanctions, technological sanctions. We've been under sanctions. We've been under all kinds of sanctions for our earlier, nuclear tests and missile tests and all that. Denial. You'll be put in a denial regime. So they have a lot of tools in this. So it's under their own authority. That's their thing. Okay, now let me take some questions otherwise also which have come. Shruti Chandak, morning, long time. Jeet says, good picture. Trump looks like a penguin. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the thumbnail reminds me of last night 3G. Yeah, will US attempt beachhead hops, multiple, we'll see. Look, if troops have to be put on ground, they have to do it. But Trump says no troops on ground. But what Trump says, what he does is two different things. So Trump might say no troops on ground, but he might exactly do that. He might exactly go put troops on ground, limited. They might get hold of the islands. Like I said, my view is they get hold of the islands, the pressure will shift to Iran. You have to have a pressure release wall. How? That Musandam Peninsula, which is on top of Dubai, which is Oman territory, go and occupy that and start engaging Iran. And that will be the first stage. The second stage is get hold of some islands there. And then you get the ability to hit back at Iran, whoever is firing. Today they don't have. Simultaneously to do all this, they're hitting the top. So let's see how beachhead hops go. I've given my views. Let's see how it goes. I might be completely wrong in this. I don't think Iran can withstand another week, as clearly the leadership is gone and there is chaos which is leading to suicidal attacks on Arab countries. Regime will fall suddenly very soon. Maybe it's possible. Let's see. Vijay, I don't know. I mean, at this point of time, everything is so nebulous. We don't know what's going to happen. You can't predict. Certain outcomes you can predict, but the tactical outcomes are something which we cannot predict. Is China or Russia supplying missiles secretly to Iran, or is it just Iran fighting? China and Russia would have helped Iran earlier. At this point of time, both of them are not. And Russia has very clearly jumped onto the dollar bandwagon. Putin is playing both sides of the game. China is, you saw what I saw in China, showed in China. China is worried. It's got out of the game at this point of time. They would have helped Iran earlier. They would have been very happy if Iran can continue its military fight with USA. Okay, possible. But now the way Iran has expanded their whole story, China is worried. And the way Iran has expanded this whole story, the options for Taiwan are closing virtually. So China won't be happy. And if China supports Iran, it is counterproductive to themselves. I've explained this to you many times. So that's how. Okay. Malika, thanks a lot for your compliment. And Vasu Iyengar, also a long time. Good morning. Gas is really a problem. Yeah, I agree with you. There's no doubt. Yeah. Okay. Navdeep Singh says, I'm not a member, but I really, thanks a lot. Doesn't matter. You don't have to become a member. As far as you subscribe, I'm happy. Right? Yeah, don't worry. Haran, good morning. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I watch it every day thanks a lot. Don't, if you can afford a membership, fine. Otherwise, forget it. And membership, I've said for what? It's only for a good cause. That's about all. It's not for me. Right? If you can't, you just be coming and I'll be very happy. Thank you. They can do something like Afghanistan, but of course it might fall the same way, but big in capital. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Using boots on ground to expand is, you have to incrementally do the whole thing. But you can't go like Afghanistan and go in and all that. That won't work. Yeah, Callis, good evening, General Garu. Thanks a lot. You're from abroad. Yeah, those of you from abroad, you can get hold of this T-shirt. I got this. Someone was coming from USA. Bought it, got it delivered to him, and got it. Because if you buy it in India, you can buy it, but it becomes too costly because the transportation charges from USA to here are very high. And those of you who are in USA, go in for it. You can get hold of these T-shirts and mugs. The mugs are here behind me. Yeah, you can have a look at it. The mugs are behind me. Mugs and other things are also there. In every video, everything where you go, you'll find this thing where you can buy. You can. Fourth wall is the one you can order. And I find them very good. I find the quality is good. I mean, I'm not this thing my own. I'm not trying to do a salesmanship to you. But if you want a good quality T-shirt with gunner shot on it, go ahead. The quality is worth it. It's worth the price you pay, and the mugs are also good. And this is the smallest mug. You get bigger mugs also. Okay. Is Turkey getting in as a mediator? No way. Right. Durandar 1, I've seen it. I'm going to see Durandar 2 shortly. DJT did not plan action like India and Obsindor. Yeah, exit strategy. Exit strategy is important. Your audio is intermittent. Is it still so? But I think now it's stabilized because I've not got the feedback of anything more on this. Otherwise, I had to get out and get back in. Yeah, Jai Hind, government should increase fuel price. Government increase fuel price to save oil marketing? No, they shouldn't. For the past 4 years, government has made a lot of money. From $100, it came down to $60. We didn't get the offset. Government has made a lot of money. These companies have made a lot of money. If government increases the price of fuel, it's got political problems. Yeah. Yeah, wars take time. Everyone is in a rush to get everything wrapped up. This war will go for another month. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not going to take, it's not going to be easy. You have to be patient. You have to be patient in war. Okay. Unless you have a sharp lesson to teach. If Trump had done that sharp lesson to teach, he probably would have got a, contract by now, or rather, a whole story wrapped up by now. I think somewhere they made the mistake that Iran will capitulate. The strategy which they chose was wrong. Yeah, all guys watching, press the like button. Amazing session with three generals yesterday. Have a look at it. Market volatility could be artificially created by interested agencies. That's also there. Beti Ganga mein pani dolo. I mean, Beti Ganga mein haath dolo. That's the thing. Okay. Bunker burst ammunitions, is it true? Yeah, they might be costly or not, but it doesn't matter. You see, a bunker buster ammunition, once it is made, brought into the inventory for the Fauji, it doesn't matter what's the cost. You don't fight war by costs. This preparation, that's gone. If you don't use it, another 5 years you'll have to anyway burn it. So you might as well use it. Okay, this is interesting. Today learned that Hormuz named after Ahura Mazda, patron saint of Parsis. Yes, thank you. Israel intent much more than Iranian regime change or breaking into pieces. Does Israel intend to completely render Iran with no ability? That's Iranian Israeli way of thinking, and that's the Iranian way of thinking also. Both are in that thing, way of that mode of thinking. In this, I think Iran has to budge an inch. If Iran budges an inch, I think Israel will find place to budge an inch. If Iran keeps saying debt to Israel and yeah, well, why should he? This thing, it will continue. Yeah. United States has 40,000 soldiers deployed across 10 countries in the Middle East. Therefore, this is before reinforcement. They would, let's work it out. Let's see how it happens. Let's see how things are going out. Then, okay. Shahid drones are non-moving, non-stealth. Why are they difficult to intercept? You see, the radar cross section is very less, and you can fly low. Once you fly low, it's difficult to catch it. And of course, the number also is more. All put together. Can India bring peace? Of course, India can bring peace. That's what I've been talking. India is the country which can bring peace. 90s ships have been reported to have sailed and Iran oil seems to be in it. Fake news. This is fake news. You saw. See, the official thing I'm putting out. What has happened? How many ships have gone past the Strait of Hormuz? I put out actual reports. If that is also fake, I don't know. But I think that is right. Goalpost of this war has changed. Yes, it has. Why has PM Modi not called for stopping the war indirectly like he did for Russia-Ukraine war? It'll come. I think that's the next stage. I think today and yesterday, the kind of messages which have gone to all the heads of states, making use of Eid al-Fitr and Nowruz, I think the next thing he'll call for it. It'll happen. Yeah, internally, no regime can be seen to be subservient to USA. I agree with you, Vasu. There's no doubt about it. And then let me see anyone else. Yeah. Right. We are only biased towards India, that's it. Yeah, I agree with you. I am only biased towards India and nothing more. Right? And that's all, right, for the day, for in at this point of time. I'll come back in the evening. We'll talk of Pakistan, which is fighting a war to avoid this war. Okay. And we'll see how things are going there and where it is getting stuck. Because ultimately for India, we have to look at Pakistan and China. So I'll keep coming back every third, fourth day, either to China or to Pakistan. With this, thank you for everyone who's attended from P Gurus and Ganashot for having joined in. Have a great day and or a great night wherever you are. Enjoy yourself, sleep well, and take care. And Jai Hind to all of you.